This is a question from Sammy. My question is in regards to binging insatiable hunger. I've been in recovery for 5 months and it's had ups and downs, pretty minor ones. I.e., I've kept eating whatever I want, whenever, for most of the 5 months. But this past weekend I had to go home for a family reunion, and for some reason family events really stressed me out. So I restricted for a couple of days before and the whole day of the event. The following day I returned to the apartment in the city and it was very hard to eat. After restricting for so long, the desire wasn't there, but I knew this wasn't right. So I ate a huge bowl of mac and cheese, and then another huge bowl of mac and cheese, and then fresh baked cookies with ice cream, 2 helpings. I didn't have guilt about eating any of it. I could feel how low energy and low mood I was after those days with less calories. But now it's Monday morning, and it feels like the hunger hasn't stopped. By 9 a.m, I had eaten an apple and peanut butter and 2 peanut butter cookies, the size of my face, literally, with Nutella spread on top. And I don't even feel like I've eaten. I could keep eating and kind of have lots of guilt. I totally understand the overeating I did when in new recovery, but I thought this time, this far along in recovery, with the one day of eating so much would be enough to soothe my body's response to want to hoard food. I guess my question is my body going to have this severe reaction for the rest of my life after restriction? Some people eat less some days and more other days, but I'm never going to be able to eat much less than normal and just go on living, or is it going to trigger this binge response every single time? Good question. So, Sammy, tends to happen, this is like general, tends to happen like this, like, you're only, 5 months into recovery or so? And before I even start any of this, I don't give a flying fuck what anyone's weight is. This is not about weight. This is about your brain believing that you're in an environment of food scarcity. Your brain believing that food is scarce. Right. That's what happens when we restrict. Brain starts to think, oh shit, I'm in a famine. And you've been coming out of that famine for 5 months or so. But because your body and your brain are very smart, and because they're designed to try and keep you alive and to survive famine cycles, then of course it's not going to trust. If you eat like next to nothing one day, your brain's going to go, holy shit, we're back there again. And then it's going to go, and it's going to want to, then as soon as food comes, you're going to go straight back to that huge insatiable hunger. And I think that a lot of us experience that in recovery. I didn't sometimes would accidentally eat a little bit less in a day and then like suddenly have extreme hunger. Like months passed when I thought I was all done with recovery. So that's why I had to keep on for a while, for years really, after nutritional rehabilitation. I had to really keep, and like, even if I wasn't quite as hungry in a day or something, I still had to keep my intake high, because I knew that if I didn't, even if I accidentally didn't eat a load of food, the next day or something, it would be like the monster was loose again. It's normal. That's just your body being smart. And I also found that, say, for example, if I had a day, let's say within this first 2 years of recovery, if I had a really stressful day, I don't eat less when I'm stressed, but I guess when you're stressed, you run at a higher rate, like you probably like use more calories because you're being stressed. And so if I had a little bit of a stressful couple of days, then my extreme hunger would come back. Because my body's being smart. Because my body doesn't necessarily, like brainstem area, doesn't necessarily know, oh, you're stressed because your boss is an asshole. Brainstem area just knows you're stressed. And if you have a history of being in famine, maybe the brainstem's like, you're stressed, maybe we're going back into the famine. Oh God, I better hoard a load of food. Body's being smart. Your body has lived through your body's own experience is periods of famine. And so you can't blame your body for going, oh crap, I better hoard food, at the slightest indication or the slightest thing that starts to stress you out go wrong. Or, in your case, Sammy, you actually did restrict. And so, yes, that's normal. And your question, though, is, does that last forever? No, I mean, it's hard to say, because I can't say I ever restrict. I don't think I have it in me. But I feel like my body is so many years past that. My body now trusts that we're not in that famine phase. That if I eat less one day and more the other day, like, it's really not. And I do. Some days I eat tons of food. Some days I eat still quite a lot of food, but not quite as much. And I can go with my hunger in like I guess a normal human being would. And it's not like my body then panics on a day after I didn't eat quite as much, which is, I think, what your question is. But really, at the bottom of all of that, Sammy, the problem is you did restrict. You knowingly restricted for days. And so, yeah, probably if I restricted right now, if I was like, oh, it's like family in town, not going to eat today, I would assume that I would then binge, because I think that I don't even think that's like an eating disorder thing. I think that happens with most people. If they don't eat enough food, they're going to then binge on food. That's a biological thing. So the moral of the story is don't restrict, ever.